You're watching Sunrise on WCBI.
Good Friday morning, everybody. We are in a good mood this morning, starting off with some giggles. It's so nice to have you back.
Nice to be back.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice to be back, everyone.
Yeah, you've been behind the scenes. You want to tell everybody what you've been doing?
Just helping produce and making sure the shows are put together and helping out any way I can. We've got a new producer. So, yeah, so just helping her get acquainted. And she's doing great, by the way. And our AP, William, he's doing great, too.
Elizabeth Tewald. Tewald? T-E-W-O-L-D.
We call her E.T.
Either E.T. or E-Money.
Or E-Money.
Yeah.
That's her nickname.
And Jacob sitting in today.
Yeah.
I am. Normally this time I'm sleeping in the morning because I do evenings and weekends, but it's great to be here as well. So.
Good to have you.
We're going to start things off with weather. Weather's always important on Friday.
It is important.
Everybody wants to know what's going on.
Today looks like it'll be a great day. We can see in Tupelo right now, we're at 72 to start the day. You can see the sun starting to peek in there, giving us a little bit of color in the sky. But we're going to enjoy the nice weather in Tupelo through the day here. By 8 a.m., I think we'll be at 75 degrees. Lunchtime, you want to have it outdoors. We'll be in those low 80s under partly cloudy skies. We will end up in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. It will be hot out there at times. We also could see a spot shower there, but I think most, if not all of us, will stay dry. We can see Tupelo will be at 88 for our high this afternoon. Aberdeen at 89, 86 in Oxford, over down into the Golden Triangle, seeing a lot of those upper 80s. We see 88 in Starkville, 88, 89 in Columbus. We do get 1 or 2 90s in the board in West Alabama. Reform and Vernon and Fayette, you'll get up to 90 degrees today. And again, I think 1 or 2 spot showers is not out of the question. Through the weekend, then, we've got isolated showers and storms on Saturday. I think widespread rain on Sunday. We'll have those showers ending Sunday night. Coming up, we'll have a look at the 7-day forecast, how much rain we'll get, and a look at a cool down next week.
All right, Jacob, thank you for that update. Well, the man elected as the new police chief in Nettleton is filling the office that was once occupied by his father. Gary Monaghan beat Assistant Nettleton Police Chief Joseph Beasley in a runoff Tuesday to take the place of retiring Chief A.D. Hurd. Monaghan had served for 6 years with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. He wanted to run for the chief's office when he found out Chief Hurd was retiring. Monaghan's dad, Buddy, served as police chief in Nettleton decades ago.
Well, over the years, after I've been working in Monroe County, I thought a lot about my father. He was chief over here in the 60s. And I just kind of wanted to follow his footsteps because he worshiped me and I worshiped him.
Monaghan officially takes office in early July, but he will be busy until then, getting ready for his new role as Nettleton's top law enforcement officer.
He seems like such a sweet man. Oh. Well, every city has a police chief, and they're either voted in by the people or appointed by the mayor and board. There's less than 10 elected police chiefs in Mississippi. Amory Police Chief Ronnie Bowen is one of those chiefs that has to campaign and go through the election process in order to be selected for his role. He first ran for chief back in 1993, and he's been in office ever since. Bowen says running for his position is a little different than other races.
This is our livelihood. This is how we make our living and support our family. So it's a lot different running for your livelihood than it is running for a part-time position or part-time job.
Tough. Bowen had one opponent run against him in the May 2nd election. His 7th term will officially start in July.
Well, when election season rolls around, it's safe to say sometimes scandal and controversy aren't far behind. Thursday, Columbus Ward 3 candidates were invited to speak at the Columbus Exchange Club. Due to a family emergency, candidate Charlotte Verdell was unable to attend. Charlie Box is running for his 3rd term. May 15th, the day before runoff elections, Box released campaign letters to members of his ward. The letters encourage voters to help maintain the racial makeup of the council by getting out to the polls to vote. Box says he has nothing to apologize for.
I stand by the fact that we need a racial balance on the city council. Simply this, I said it's 4 and 2 now, 4 blacks and 2 whites. We do not need a 6 black city council, nor do we need a 6 white city council. Columbus needs diversity.
Columbus City Council has 4 African American members and 2 Caucasian members. Coming up on Sunrise, Alabama lawmakers are close to halting the future removal of any Confederate monuments in their state. And next, 3 teens have been charged with the murder of Kingston Frazier, the child from yesterday's APB. More Sunrise coming up after the break.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Thanks for being with us. The time right now, 5:08. This morning in central Mississippi, 3 teens face capital murder charges in connection with a child found dead inside a stolen car. Jackson police say the body of 6-year-old Kingston Frazier was found yesterday morning, still in the back of a Toyota Camry, reported stolen from a Kroger store parking lot. Authorities say the boy's mother left him in the car while she went into the store. Investigators say the boy had been shot to death.
We have 3 individuals in custody for these crimes. They are currently here in the detention center at Madison County. They'll all be charged with capital murder at this time.
On Wakefield and DeAllen, Washington, both 18 years old, were taken into police custody yesterday morning. Officers took 19-year-old Byron McBride into custody yesterday afternoon. As New Orleans prepares to remove the Lee Monument, the discussion now shifts to where those statues will go next. Paul Murphy reports from Biloxi, which is now having its own debate over symbols of the Old South.
Supporters of the Take 'em Down movement have said that Confederate-era monuments, like the ones now being removed from public sight in New Orleans, would more appropriately be displayed in a museum. Beauvoir, the retirement home of Confederate President Jefferson Davis in Biloxi, is a 52-acre estate and Civil War museum.
Our interest on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 12.
Beauvoir Executive Director Thomas Payne says he has reached out to the city of New Orleans in an effort to obtain the Jefferson Davis statue and the others now coming down. He maintains there has been no response from Mayor Mitch Landrieu's office.
We want to help them move these statutes, and we want to bring them here to the Mississippi Gulf Coast at Beauvoir.
The city of Biloxi is having its own debate over Confederate symbols. Mayor Fofo Gillich recently ordered the Mississippi state flag to be taken down at all city buildings because a part of it contains the Confederate flag.
That emblem or that part of the flag is offensive to someone, and I wouldn't want to offend anyone.
Gillich has no problem with the New Orleans statues coming to Beauvoir.
The place for that history and to honor that history is in a museum. Of course, Jefferson Davis is in the Beauvoir is the last home of Jefferson Davis.
We're ready. We'll work with you any way we can to get those monuments here.
In other news now, Alabama lawmakers are moving closer to making sure Confederate monuments stay where they are. We're going to look at video from New Orleans where leaders have removed some Confederate monuments. The Alabama Senate passed a bill yesterday that would prohibit the removal of certain long-standing statues. Many southern cities are debating their monuments, with some calling them inappropriate because of their pro-slavery symbolism. Well, coming up next on Sunrise, Jacob Dickey has our Friday forecast and a moonshine operation. That's right, White Lightning is derailed. Stay with us. You're watching WCBI Sunrise.
Get some showers and storms in our area. They're off to our west. We do have one little cell here near Oxford that's popped up. Maybe get a brief downpour with that. We can see those spot showers throughout the day. The heaviest showers and storms are off to our north and our west. These are the remnants of those showers and thunderstorms that produced the severe weather in Oklahoma. We actually have a really cool video here. This comes from Duke. You can see this stovepipe tornado as it spun across the open lands in Oklahoma. Thankfully, the damage from out there was not as significant as anticipated. most of those tornadoes stayed in rural areas. They're still reeling from yesterday's, and they're going to have more storms today. Here in Mississippi and Alabama, we're going to be fine today. We're going to have a nice sunrise on our Skycam network Alpha Insurance, seeing the color in the sky. There, that Columbus camera just jumped over to color for us here. Starting off nice, too. We're getting those upper 60s and low 70s. The one thing about today that will be different is the humidity. That's going to make things feel muggy. We get those dew points starting in the upper 60s, just a few degrees more than yesterday, and they will go into the low 70s today. Heading to school, this might be our last day for the bus stop forecast. We're going to have a nice drop-off, 73 degrees under mostly clear skies there. Lunchtime, you might be able to have that outside. Could see a spot shower through the afternoon as we are on our way into the mid to upper 80s, perhaps looking at some 90s on the board as well. Looking at that heat across the area, we got 90 in Vernon for our high this afternoon, 88 in Amory, 89 in Columbus, 88 in Tupelo. Most of us will get to those upper 80s. I'll get a few in the 90s, and we should stay dry today too. Maybe one or two of us do get a morning shower as well as the afternoon. The best chance for showers, I think, is going to come in on Saturday and Sunday, and we can see those showers and thunderstorms on the board through much of the day. And that's going to be the story for this weekend, is that wet weather. Here's that rainfall estimate. This goes all the way through Wednesday. We could get a ½ inch to an inch of rain in spots. That's going to be much needed since we're in that drought. And we're going to see plenty of rain chances, but I think the great thing, and I know Renae is excited about this, is we're looking at mid-70s on Wednesday and Thursday. For May, this is going to be some fantastic weather.
Fantastic hair weather. Great.
I'm excited about it too, Mr. Dickey.
Definitely.
I love that. 70s.
That'll be a treat.
But a wet weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a bummer.
You know, the left field lounge, MSU baseball, there's the left field lounge, and I guess this is the last year, and the big last hurrah is this weekend, wouldn't you know? It might be rainy.
And we're going to have more on that story coming up with Selena Schaefer, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. But turning to some serious news now, a man accused of murdering his mother this past Mother's Day weekend claims he was under the influence when he committed the violent act.
Well, that's one piece of information gleaned from a bond hearing for the 35-year-old suspect charged in this brutal murder.
Antonio Gladney walked handcuffed and shackled from a Lee County Sheriff's Patrol unit into Justice Court. During the bond hearing, Justice Court Judge Chuck Hopkins reminded Gladney that he did not have to say anything. The hearing was only to get a bond set. But Antonio Gladney said he wanted the chance to get out on bond to make things right with his family. The 35-year-old said he was not in his right mind when he went to his mother's house on County Road 54 in Shannon this past weekend.
And you heard firsthand, without any prompting and after his rights had been read, what his basically initial appearance confession was before the judge, that he took responsibility for it. He worked this act was solely his responsibility, and he wanted to do what he could do to make it right. But this is the I don't know how many times he's been before a judge, and I wished he'd have made it right before it cost the life of someone.
Sheriff Johnson was referring to Antonio Gladney's lengthy criminal record. Since the age of 20, he's been in prison on felony charges, including strong-armed robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, grand larceny, receiving stolen property, fleeing a law enforcement officer, and parole violation. Still, he's been released early on several occasions. Gladney's bond was set at $5 million, and the sheriff says the charges could